So anyways, we got some financial analysis. So we have now some results from the Q1 of 2025 for AnyColor. Now we've got the raw data here, and I could go over the raw data because of course I do like it raw. However, the raw data is boring. Only a nerd would want to go over the raw data, which is what I did earlier today. But I actually found that these financial forms, which is the gap results from the 3 months that ended in 2025, July 31st, 2024, which they consider their Q1 of 2025. It sounds weird, but they consider this, even though it's midway through the year, Q1 of 2025. Don't ask questions. Just accept financial years being ridiculous, okay? Let's get to these results from VTuber Sensei. So this is the big one, guys, right here. Let me like drop down here, zoom in on this. Here is the big one. Now, a lot of people, and I guess I've got to put up this banner here too, that this is not the financial advice. So let me put this up. Yeah, we'll put this up that way. So not financial advice, right? But this is the revenue. Now, in my take, look, we've looked a lot at the Nijisanji stock. And if I recall correctly, if we look at the AnyColor stock, I believe it might have gotten a temporary up, right? So I think the last like month or so, it's actually gone up a bit. Let's pop over here. Let's pop over here. So the stock has pumped. Now, one thing you need to be aware of, why does stock pump? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Stock can pump because of currency fluctuations. The yen is doing pretty well right now. That could be a thing, right? It can pump because of general market trends. Market could be trending generally upward. It can pump because of buybacks, right? Which they are doing. They are doing repeated several buybacks, stock buybacks to pump their stock price. So all of these factors can lead to a stock rising. What I generally follow with the stock, and I've been talking about this in general, is the trend. And when we zoom out, which is what you should always do, this is the 5-year chart. And actually, let's just go out to the max chart. So this is as far as it goes. You see the general trend. The general trend here is no bueno, right? The general trend over the yearly basis, long term, not short term. We're not talking about quick pump and dumps like a Tuesday at the pub. This is the long term trend. It is not looking great for Nijisanji. This is looking horrible. This is a horrible chart. I don't care what their last month looks like. In general, long term, it looks real bad. And it doesn't look like, despite the little pump there, that this is going to get them to any sort of new high. Right? Could be wrong, right? Once again, not financial advice. But what I really look at, what I really care about is revenue, because revenue at the end of the day is what matters. And shout out to a channel of mine. There's a co-creator, Aaron Clary, who's a friend of mine, who brought up a very good point. A lot of creators out there who are younger and they're kind of inexperienced, they use the term write it off. So when a company loses money, they say, oh, they'll just write it off. They'll just write it off. Well, here's the thing. Writing something off doesn't make you money. So even if you are taxed a little bit less, let's say you deduct something, that you're not going to make more money. And that said, for a business, they write everything off anyways already. Like everything is a business expense for a business typically. So it's already all written off. So a lot of people will use that term inaccurately, and you should be very, very thoughtful and careful when you hear that term, when people throw it around, whether it's Nijisanji, AnyColor, or whether it's an American company, whether it's even Phase Connect or anywhere else, whether it's a write-off, right? Well, you've already spent the money, so it's not really a thing there. It really comes into play more if you are somebody who is working for yourself and you have a personal expense that you can write off as a business expense and thus garner more deductions, whereas you wouldn't be able to garner that for personal expense. That is something that's valid, but that's something that doesn't really come to play here in the Nijisanji context. So a little bit of nerding out. Now, Here's the revenue. Here's the problem. Year over year, they've dropped 50%. This is the quarter where they had to deal with the backlash of Doki Bird. This is the revenge of Doki Bird. Okay. This is it here. This is the quarter that we're saying, hey, they're going to really need to pay attention because this is where it hits. So this is showing you what negligible looks like. This is negligible, right? This is negligible. Now, does this mean the company is going to go bankrupt tomorrow? No. But does this mean there was a serious backlash from what happened during that saga? Hell yes. Is there an enduring effect on this company? Yes. Does it have now a mark on this company as a black company? Have people pulled their funding from this company? Yes. There is a serious financial effect here. This is not something that is due to COVID because COVID has long been over, right? Look at the 2023 numbers, 2024 numbers. For the longest time, all the businesses wanted to blame everything on COVID. This isn't COVID. Guys, I'm in Japan right now. Let me tell you, it's not tourism being down or spending being down. There's more motherfuckers in Japan now than I've ever seen in my life, right? Osaka's packed. I could barely get into a restaurant when I was in Osaka. I'm in Nagoya now, but it was crazy. It's nuts. And even the Shinkansen is super busy, right? So it's not like this is due to any pandemic or any financial conditions or a recession, right? Remember, this is looking back. And this was also when, speaking of which, so I mentioned the dollar to yen, the dollar was much stronger even then, and their revenue's down, right? So it's showing people in the English-speaking world were literally not buying. This is bad. And let me just say this real quick here. For all of those that, want to say that we're just hating on Niji Sanji, think about this from the lens of an old, crusty, financially conservative. They may be, their politics may be whatever, right? But a financially conservative old investor who has millions or billions of dollars, some crusty old fuck, right? When they're looking to invest in something, let's say it's oil, right? Are they going to invest in a speculative experimental company that's not doing well and not profitable? Or are they going to invest in something they know is going to make them money or at least make money on a consistent basis? They're going to invest in the one that can make the money. So if you're looking to invest as an old crusty motherfucker in the VTuber sphere, because you hear, oh, the VTuber sphere is up and coming, I want to invest. Well, are you going to invest in a company that is doing this, or are you going to invest in Cover Corporation, which is literally the alternative staring you in the face? Are you going to drop your money in something that is going to maintain relatively stable, if not grow, or something that is showing a trend line that is clearly down? You're going to go with something that is relatively stable and looks like it's got a big potential for growth. It's Cover Corporation. Of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you where to invest, right? I'm just telling you, hey, this is how crusty old bastards think, right? Yeah, somebody said in the chat, investors want stability and reliability. Exactly. People do not want to invest in these companies. Forget about your feelings about the Oshis or your feelings even about the Doki saga. Forget about that. When you see these revenue numbers, people don't want to invest in that. Your feelings aside, right? So this is a pretty objective analysis. Now, I'll give you guys one point which may remedy in the next quarter for Niji Sanji. The dollar to yen change, because they have a market that's strongly Japanese, that may actually pair and work out better for them because the yen is relatively strong. So maybe that works out better for them next quarter. Maybe, who knows? We'll see how that plays out. It's not a for sure thing, right? Because that may not drive spending, but we'll see, right? But we're not in this quarter. We're looking at last quarter. We're looking at Q1, what they call Q1 of 2025, which is really the last 3 months. So really interesting data here. This is the big point, the big takeaway from this. If you get one thing and one thing only from this stream, it's that Niji Sanji's revenue is dropping precipitously, and there's a pattern, right? There's a literal pattern in the drop. All right, so let's continue down here. Where we're going over and by the way, I love the fact he did the little links here, really great stuff. He linked to the original. So saying for the first time in history, AnyColor, the parent company of Negligible, is showing signs of financial strain. Well, the company has seen significant, consistent growth since its founding. Q1 of 2025 reveals significant drop across all business segments, suggesting potential underlying issues beyond the reported seasonality and postponed events. This is it right here. This is not just, oh, Christmas sucked. This is not just, oh, we didn't get, we didn't hit the targets we wanted for our tickets. No, this is a big issue. So looking at the results here, they're down in live streaming. They're down in commerce. They're down in events. They're down in promotions. Down, down, down. Overall revenue fell by 16.9 year over year. Event revenue plunged 93.6 from one postponed event, one canceled event, and general seasonality. But this is the point. Would they have canceled or postponed those events if not for the shit they pulled? I would say no. They wouldn't have canceled those events, I don't think. Commerce remains their strongest section. So literally merch. This is merch. Commerce means merch. That's the thing for merch. So literally all they've got is merch. Merch is like holding them together right now. Crimson Splat says, not sure what to make of it. Volume traded during the rise and fall. Last few days have been very heavy. Yeah. Which is why I don't like reading short-term patterns. And I just look at the long-term trends. Tell me again, it was negligible. Revenue by business area. So you've got other promotion, event, commerce, live streaming. Once again, all down year over year. Quarter one to quarter one is down, right? This raises questions about whether these financial challenges are isolated incidents or indicative of more systemic issues within the company. I've got my money on systemic issues. Niji-sanji En. So this is AnyColor in general, by the way. And this is specifically EN. So one of the most alarming areas is the dramatic downturn of Niji-sanji En, which is described as crashing and burning by the VTuber community on social media. Live streaming revenue dropped 44.75. So people are just not tuning in. They're not super chatting. They're not engaging. Commerce fell 57.75%. Event revenue fell to zero, almost negative. It fell to negative. They lost money. They literally lost money. Niji-sanji En lost money on events. And then promotions are down 4.17 event. They didn't really have much going on there. There's not much revenue there, so they didn't lose much there. But the big one is, look, they're big dog, commerce and live streaming. Those taking a hit and they're losing money on events, yeah, that's bad. Real bad. If I'm in their boardroom, I'm really panicking right now. Key observations. Niji-sanji En's financial decline raises questions. Although AnyColor points to logistical challenges like event postponements and cancellations, there may be deeper issues at play. For example, the branch has been embroiled in several high-profile scandals. For instance, the sell-in controversy and the general behavior of their talents on stream. These events have damaged the brand's reputation, leading to a decreased audience trust and engagement. Expansion plans, other insights. They don't have expansion plans. That's a problem. They're just growing these employees without actually directing them. So the number of VTubers increased to 165, with 34 in Niji-sanji En and 131 in Niji-sanji JP. They mainly are growing their JP branch. Their audience remains young, with 57% in the 20 to 29% range and 21% under 19. So they literally have 78% of their audience is under the age of 29. A significant chunk of which is under the age of 19. 68% female. So the Fujos are strong, although it's young. It's young. So it's a young Fujos. The baby Fujo. What do you call a baby Fujo, guys? What's a baby Fujo? I mean, is that like a Fuji-chan? I don't know. Under 19 is bad, low disposable income, especially in Japan right now. Gen Z, they don't have any money. They're broke as shit, and they're not working. That's the thing about the younger generations here. They're just not working. All right, so here they say, AnyColor is planning to increase the number of VTubers by 10 to 15%, with the goal of growing revenue per VTuber by the same percentage. See, this is the thing. They are continuing to bank on the shotgun approach. And I just think this is a failing approach. The shotgun approach where they don't invest in their actual talent. They just invest in, oh, we'll get another one. That's not working out well for them. That's not paying off for them. Maybe they should start looking at the people that are doing well and popular and putting more money into them to grow them instead of using literal Chinese human wave tactics like they're a bunch of communists in the 1950s. So takeaway and analysis. Number one, it's revenue decline. The sharp decrease in revenue across all sectors, especially in events, suggests that AnyColor is facing more than just seasonal challenges. Although they've cited previous event cancellations and postponements, the severity implies potential underlying issues such as competition or audience disengagement. Niji struggles. The English-speaking branch's financial collapse points to more serious structural issues. Scandals and drama have tarnished their brand, but the declining popularity and lack of event success suggests they may need to reconsider their content and engagement strategies. Yeah, they need to do anything to engage people abroad instead of just targeting Japan, which is actually what they've said in their corporate documents. They put in their filings, their securities filings, which once again, guys, these filings have to be true. If they're clear misstatements, that would be a violation of the law. That'd be a securities breach, securities law violation if they make a material misstatement. They've said our focus is on Japan in their own financial filings. So it's not me just making this stuff up. I'm just reading what is out there, and this is what they've said. Optimistic outlook but uncertain future. The refusal to lower its revenue expectations for the next quarter, despite current struggles, may be seen as either confidence or over-optimism. The company's future may hinge on how well they navigate the challenges of audience retention, competition, and scandal fallout. Expansion plans. Their strategy to grow the VTuber base and focus on existing talent could either reignite growth or further strain resources if audience interest continues to wane. Success may depend on how well they innovate their content and sustain engagement in an increasingly competitive VTuber market. Well, actually, I think this is kind of a typo here, but they're actually focusing on growing, not focusing on the existing talent. So the problem is that they're only focusing on growth and not on existing talent. That's a problem. Scandals impact. The effect of the various scandals cannot be ignored. Reputational damage, especially in the entertainment industry, can have long-lasting effects. You know it. And the thing that people underestimate about the VTuber community is the VTuber community, which is something I know, has a long memory. They don't forget stuff. Like the VTuber community remembers shit that went down like 3-4 years ago like it happened yesterday. The VTuber community does not forget. And you know, just like a honey badger, they'll be fucking on you. If somebody, for example, when people that are bad faith actors that come in and out of the VTuber community, when they do that, people remember. People remember. And Niji Sanji is not going to get past this easily. All right, a fork in the road. AnyColor is at a critical juncture. While they've experienced immense growth since their founding, the report signals a possibility of stagnation or decline. Whether this is a temporary setback due to the event postponements or seasonal factors, or a more permanent downturn triggered by internal issues and scandals, remains to be seen. If they can effectively navigate these challenges, innovate and rebuild trust, AnyColor could potentially, I like that. This is very conditional language. Could potentially, hypothetically bounce back. However, if they fail to address the root cause of their financial decline, the future is looking grim. I would say the future is looking black future for Kuro Sanji. So that's what I've got on AnySanji. Great article there by VTuber Sensei. I just want to give a shout out once again. I like people who do good content, who put out good work.